My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So I am pre-recording this because it is Passover, baby. Passover is a big deal for Jews. Well, religious. I think it's a big deal for all Jews. Like most Jews attend some form of Passover Seder, which is you kind of get together with family. You read this book called the Haggadah, which kind of tells the story of the Exodus. But yeah, it tells it in like a homilinic way. Is that the right? Am I saying that word correctly? I do not know. Anyway, so I'm getting ready to do that. I just spent the day kind of cleaning up, getting rid of any grain products. Man, listen, I hope my channel, if nothing else, is like a constant announcement about how good you have it if you're not a super Bible-thumping religious Jew, right? It's like, if you got your bacon, your black pudding, your shrimp, your lobster, your prawns, whatever, you enjoy it. That's one of the things I miss most. Because I didn't grow up religious. I became religious when I was like 19. Long story. I will tell you that another time. But man, because I lived in London, right? My stomping ground was Tottenham Court Road, Leicester Square. Because that's where Forbidden Planet was, Forbidden Planet 2, and all the the moot cinemas. But I used to love going to a shellfish stand, right, and getting like a pint of whelks, half pint of whelks. Oh. Man, I genuinely miss that, right? I do. I really do. It's funny. Funny the small things you miss. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. I apologize if this is pre-recorded, but we have lots to talk about, right? There's a lot going on. So this is just kind of a look into the world of Doctor Who, which quite personally, which is, I think, a bit tumultuous right now, right? A bit tumultuous. We have the news that Jinx Monsoon has a major role, which we're going to be talking about, in this. Look, I just want to say on the outset, again, I'm recording this on Wednesday. Something might have happened in the last 24 hours. I do not know. But, like, is this good news or bad news, right? Really, let's deal with this going in. Is it good news or bad news? And the answer is, I genuinely don't know in terms of an enjoyable storytelling experience. It depends what character they're playing. Are they, are they an alien? Are they... it all depends on that. Really, everything really depends on that. I'm not the sort of person that will say, no, this is doomed, this is awful. Actually, I do actually say that, but before I see it, right? I think the difference is this. Like, the reason I do that, because I just was thinking about the new Star Trek series that are now Starfleet Academy, which is a sequel to Star Trek Discovery, which is awful, right? It's going to be written by, showrun by Alex Kurtzman. If it gets made, I hope it doesn't. And so I can quite confidently say that is going to be awful, right? So this one I'm much more confused about because Russell T Davies, I haven't seen him write anything I didn't like, right? I understand he's got a very different worldview, but I haven't seen him produce any work I haven't liked. So I've always thought they will be of good quality. What's more worrying for me, right? What's more disturbing is the it feels like social engineering, right? It feels like look, everybody loves drag queens, right? Everybody most people like drag queens. They're fun, right? They're fun. They're vivacious. They're bit larger than life. Drag queens are kind of fun. But, I think the Russell T Davies and the LGBTQIA, whatever the acronym is now, plus world, need to work out what drag queens are. Are they an innocuous bit of family fun? Or are they a highly sexualized erotic art form? Which I tend to lean to the latter, but what blurs it is we have a tradition of mainstream drag in England. Like, yeah, if you ever been to Panto, we have these plays in England, which I love. They're awesome, right? Where there's lots of audience participation, and one of the things there is a pantomime dame. It's a man, or in drag basically as a woman. And there was never really any hint of any sexual impropriety over there. Like, I remember when I went to Panto, like, Danny LaRue was the big one, right? He called me up onto stage, right? What can they do, They have little competitions for the kids they have to do. And he called me up on the stage. He's like, oh, who's been eating too much Christmas pudding, right? They're fun, right? They're fun. So I just don't think drag is the same thing in 2023 that it was in 1973, right? It seems to be... There's a real element there that wants to convince children that a fringe form of sexuality is going to be as viable and fulfilling for the majority of human beings as a mainstream sexuality, and I don't think that's the case, right? I do not. That's my belief system. I don't know that's good. And get look, if you're a drag queen, if you're trans, live and be well, mate. Live and be well. But if you're trans, you know, the suicide rate is 41%, right? Before and after. Transitioning surgery, and that's like having surgery, which we don't really have so much nowadays. People are trans because they just remain in that flux state. I just don't think that's where happiness and fulfillment is, right? I think happiness and fulfillment, and again, this might not be an option open to everyone, right? But I think it is an option open to most human beings for the entirety of human. I mean, like really, 97% of human beings for the entirety of humanity, which is marriage, fraternity, parenting, honesty, those things, family, right? Like a nuclear family. That's where I believe happiness resides for most people, right? And so I think this social engineering to make it seem that there are equally good alternatives, and they're really, and I understand. Listen, if you're gay, if you have a different sex, whatever, that option isn't open to you. I understand that. I completely get that, right? But if that option is open to you, statistically, just the data says that's the most likely route to happiness, right? And the more fringe forms of sexuality tend to not be, right? So that's my concern, and my real concern is that a lot of people who do choose more fringe forms of sexuality don't have as good a life, essentially, right? They miss out on family a lot of the times. They look, don't get me wrong, I've got gay friends who adopted, and they're wonderful parents, right? Yes, you can absolutely adopt. That can, but I think that's the aberration more than the norm, right? So that's that's really my hot take on it right now. Again, I have to see what it is, but it does feel like platforming. It's a very contradictory message to me, because on one side it feels like platforming, it feels like exactly what Christian was doing very, very poorly. On the other hand, Russell Davis has always been able to pull this out of the bag. I mean, my guess is that he's equating the trans, question. By the way, go and check out my channel on Rumble. I'm doing Rumble exclusives because I can speak freely there. Not hatefully, but I can speak freely there, and it's so much better. So I did a Rumble exclusive talking about it, but I think he sees, the, I don't want to call it struggle, right? But I think he will call it the trans struggle. I call it maybe the trans dominance, is equated to the struggle for gay rights in the 80s. I think he very much equates the two things to be the same. I really don't. I think he's wrong, basically, and I think I think if he realizes how children are being targeted using drag queens for sexual exploitation, which is happening, that does happen, I think he'll be mortified, because I think he's genuinely a good person, right? I think he's a person who understands family and children, right? I think he does. Even though, obviously he doesn't have any, but that's my hot take on it. So it's a little bit sad, but we have to wait and see, right? We have to wait and see. Added to that, in my crazy religious worldview, I do think this bubble is literally about to burst, maybe today, right? I really think things are about to get crazy today, and over the next week, right? I think strange things happen. We'll find out in a week from now. See, look. When I say things are going to happen, I try and put a date on it, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. We'll find out. If I'm right, I crow about forever. If I'm wrong, we'll forget about it. Anyway, with that lengthy opening, like, share, subscribe, comment. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. I'm very, very grateful. Head over to Rumble. Dude, it is the way of the future. That is the place where content is going to be right now. It's, again, I did the Rumble exclusive last night. It was wonderful. It was a great show as well. It was. I mean, I didn't talk about geeky stuff, but it was like a really genuinely good show. Because we're able to get to issues that we're not able to get to. And honestly, here's the thing. I think in terms of drag queens, children, trans rights, we need to have a conversation, right? I don't think that's a hateful statement that we need as a society to be able to talk about it. You can't talk about it on YouTube, right? Which makes me think that the trans side of things can't defend itself, right? It doesn't look good for it that it stifles any debate, right? It's not hate speech to say, is this safe? Is this good? I don't know. But I think that's what we need to have, and yeah, that's why Rumble is very good. I understand the app isn't available in the UK app stores. I think you just switch your app stores to US. Rumble, why you are not available in the UK app stores is a mystery to me. It's baffling. It's so stupid, right? It's actually painfully stupid. Please pull it together. But generally speaking, look. Content is best where there's freedom. That's what. Look, Rumble's my main channel as well. Here's the thing: if YouTube closes down my channel, I'm going to lose about 20 to 30% of my audience, which is a big chunk, and I don't want to lose it. But this is only after been pumping on Rumble for like a month or so, right? Like seriously, and I get more views on my live streams there, like significantly more views. So I really think that is the way of the future, baby. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, look at the video notes, Substack, all those things. I've had a haircut. I think we covered everything. Let's start looking at the news story, shall we? We'll start over here. There's like they talk about this literally everywhere. Doctor Who cast major 2-time Drag Race winner in major role. So that's the other thing. Frankly, and I am out of step with... I don't know if I am out of step with society. I'm out of step with those that run society. I'm fine with there being RuPaul's Drag Race as a show. I'm not fine with it being before 9 o'clock, before a watershed, right? I'm not fine with, again, I think fringe sexuality being... what's the word I'm looking at? Being mainstream, but again, but they would use the argument, and they say the same thing about being gay in the 70s, right? That's a pretty strong argument now, isn't it? Again, the traditional drag we have in England, I think, really makes a big difference, right? The tradition of like non-sexually exploitive drag in England, pantomime dames, it makes a big difference, but. This is just confusing, right? I'm a bit confused. 2-time RuPaul Drag Race winner, Jinx Monsoon. So I'm uncomfortable with Drag Race being so mainstream, right? But okay. Has joined the cast of Doctor Who Season 14 in a currently unknown major role alongside Ncuti Gatwa, right? So, it depends it all depends what is going to be. Now, I don't know if Jinx Monsoon is also trans. Do they view themselves as a woman, or do they view themselves as a man? I don't know, right? I don't know. Drag queens used to view themselves as men. Drag queens very much used to, as ones I knew anyway, right? That's the thing. Again, drag queens are fun, right? And that's really the thing you need to go. But yeah, Doctor Who magazine this month, I think Russell Lee Davies really underscored it, because he wrote a column about how they're filming in the 2005 season, a Christopher Eccleston story, at a location filming, and he went in from the cold and the rain into a gay club and met this guy who's been a friend for him ever since, this drag queen, and it had wonderful, passionate sex. Okay, so which one is it, mate? Is it like highly erotic, sexualized art form close to, sex work? Or is it Danny LaRue completely family friendly? It's got to be one or the other, right? Because I feel they're saying Danny LaRue completely family friendly, and then we're having like fake tits rubbed in the face of 4-year-olds. It's just weird, and the crotch rubbed in the face of 4-year-olds. That's the dichotomy I'm in right now. And I would love to talk to Russell about it, right? I would love to hear his point of view. I would love to hear him talk more about this. But no, honestly, I would like to hear him be challenged on things as well, right? And have him respond, because he's a smart guy, and I want to know his point of view. Fine. 2-time RuPaul Drag Race winner Jinx Monsoon is set to join Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor in Doctor Who Season 14 in a new recurring role in the upcoming season. Monsoon completed and was the victor of RuPaul's Drag Race in Season 5 in 2013, before once again winning again in Season 7 in 2020. What? Season 5 was in 2013, and Season 7 was in 2022. How come they only did 2 seasons in 9 years? Was Chris Chibnall running it? That would explain it, right? That would totally explain it. Monsoon will join the long-running sci-fi series for Gatwa's first full season. Again, another thing I think is going on is that I think Russell wants to do the social agenda that the Chibnall years did, but he wants to do it in an effective way rather than a massively ineffective way. I don't know. This feels like it might be ineffective to me. I mean, it feels like it's just a bit too much, right? Monsoon will join the long for Gatwa's first full season, which will see the actor take over the role from David Tennant following the 60th anniversary. Okay. As reported by Variety, Monsoon has joined the cast of Doctor Who season. Okay, you just said this! I mean, literally just now! And will be taking on a currently unknown major role across multiple episodes of the upcoming season, so maybe a recurring villain. Alongside the announcement of Monsoon's casting, returning Doctor Who showrunner Rusty Davies teased a statement celebrating news, while Monsoon released a statement praising the writers, stating their excitement for joining the series. Is it his excitement, her excitement? I don't know. Check out both Davies and Monsoon's statements. So Davies says, in a galaxy of comics and supernovas, here comes the biggest star of them all. Jinx Monsoon is on a collision course with TARDIS, and Doctor Who will never be the same again. So that is Russell D. Davies hyperbole selling something, right? Selling something hard, right? And it's what he does, right? But the language of saying Doctor Who will never be the same again, maybe again, it's making people nervous. And look, also, I don't know when you're watching this video. As we're recording it, we're about a week out from a trans man, so I think they're biological female, feeling that they're under complete threat and assault, and going to went and attacked a church school and killed 3 9-year-olds. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, again, I feel bad for that person as well, because imagine the depth of your mental illness. That you're sitting there thinking, oh, this is a good idea. Like, it's horrendous. It's horrific to me, right? And 3 of the teachers. It was absolutely horrific. Then in the wake of that, trans people were then screaming that they were the victims after persecuted, because I think they expected there to be a big backlash against trans people, which didn't really happen, like a physical one, like a violent one. So the timing of this seems very uncomfortable to me, right? Yeah, very uncomfortable. Jinx Monsoon, I'm honoured and thrilled and utterly excited to join Doctor. And look, I want to be clear as well. I wish Jinx Monsoon no ill will at all. And look, if this isn't a platforming and it's just a great character, well cast, I'm thrilled for them, right? Him, her, whoever they are. I am thrilled for them. I'm so happy for them, right? I just hope it's not at the expense of more awful Doctor Who, which is kind of what it has been. But again, time will tell. I've been saying this for a while. We're not really going to know much about this new era. Not from the specials, the 6th anniversary. It's like halfway through Shooter's era, right? First season. Then we'll have a rough idea. So listen, I'm happy for them. Don't get me wrong. Rusty Davies is a visionary and brilliant writer. I can't wait to get into the weeds with him and the crew. I hope there's room in the TARDIS for my luggage. Yeah, you know. Yeah, the drag queen persona is somewhat sexist as well. It's like every bimbo stereotype humanly possible that we're told we can't equate women to, right? It'd be bad, and I agree with that. And all of a sudden, as long as you're a drag queen, it's all okay. Like, it was like sexualized makeup. I don't know. I like. How would you feel I don't know, what's comparable, like a stripper, but there's no famous strippers, like, I guess a porn star, right? And not somebody who used to be a porn star, somebody who is currently a porn star, right? They're taking a break from fisting firemen, right? They're just wiping the many people's cum out of their hair, and now they're going to go and be in Doctor Who for the kids, right? Kind of reminds me. If you ever read The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller, came out in the 80s, freaking awesome. That was a parody saying like porn star, I think it was ex-porn star is playing Cinderella. She says, I'm doing it for the kids. Say that, like, would you feel that's appropriate? Like, would you like to encourage young girls to get on the pole, right? Would you feel that's an appropriate thing to? Would you feel that would be something that would lead children, lead young girls, whoever, people into a life of happiness? I tend to think not, right? I do. I think trying to influence people to become strippers would be a bad idea, right? I don't think that's a good... that's going to create a good and healthy society. But, you know, that's basically what TikTok does. It's amazing. If you look at the what TikTok upvotes in China compared to upvotes in the West, right? Oh my God. In China, you have like acts of kindness, like acts of doing things for the community, science projects, like all these like really good meritorious things. And in America and England, it's like twerking. Yeah, it's exactly that. So we're up to... Well, there's a lot of anticipation for Doctor Who's 60th anniversary specials that will feature new stars, familiar, beloved characters, lots of them, and even lesser-known Who villains, not less known to me, to celebrate the series mindset. There's also the future of the show to be excited about with Gutwood's first full season production. Again, I'm still excited about it. They are hiring. And so we got, what, 1, 2, 3. We have, I think, 4 trans actors right now. So... What's percentage of people are trans? Like 0.1%? Was that like yeah, 1 second. Let's say it's we'll do the math, right? So let's say 4 times, I guess it'll have to be about 200-300, right? Times 250, right? So they have to have a cast of 1,000 people to be proportionally representative. The cast is probably about 50. It's like, you see, that's what I mean. It feels like platforming. So there, you got Yasmin Finney. You have this person. You had there was 2 others announced this week, I believe. Okay. Well, there's a lot of anticipation for the blah 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 blah. The Sex Education Barbie stars 15th Doctor will be joined by Coronation's Millie Gibson. Well, you see, there you go. That's like seems to be something for everybody, quite frankly. Who's set to play the Doctor's new companion, Ruby Sunday. Both Gutter and Gibson's first on-screen adventure together will debut in the form of a festive episode set to air during the holiday period of 2023, followed by season 14, which is expected to air in 2024. Yeah, okay, this is no new news. While Gutman's first season Doctor will usher in a new era of the show, the 15th Doctor will be joined by some familiar faces. Okay, so now this Gemma Redgrave, Unit, blah blah blah, alongside Gutwell, Gibson, Redgrave, Monsoon, Anita Dobson. Okay, now we're just reading a cast list, right? It just seems to be a very high percentage of trans people, and I don't even know if a drag queen is trans, right? I really genuinely am unaware of that, right? So let's see what else is going down. 5 ways Doctor Who's future is repeating Russell Davies' original era. Well, yeah, people with penises were generally speaking men in the 2005 era. Not there's anything wrong with that. Not having a penis being a man. I mean, except according to science and religion. But, other than that, no, right? Other than that, no. Doctor Who, by the way, genuinely sign up to Rumble. What I just said may get my channel spiked, right? Sign up to like, I can say basically nothing. And it's the major topic of conversation, right? It's a major thing that's been going around. Doctor Who's about to enter inside a new era on Disney+, but several aspects of the production make this new RTD era troublingly familiar. Well, okay. Well, I don't know why you're troubled by the familiarity. It's been 18 years since Russell Davies first brought Doctor Who back to the screens, but his second era showrunner always feels very familiar to the first. Do you think it might be the same person doing it and has a similar outlook and ideas? Davies was asked back to Doctor Who to shepherd the show into the new co-production with Ben Wolf, the global streaming partner Disney+. It was a smart move. Well, it was the only move, right? Given how Doctor Who's fondness, given how Russell Davies' fondness of the show hadn't dwindled, and how Doctor Who had indeed dwindled. Because the 2005 revival of the Doctor Who was such a huge overnight success. However, what little is known of the new era of Doctor Who does suggest Russell Davies is revisiting the golden age for inspiration. Well, again, that's his ideas on how to make good Doctor Who, right? You know, where are we up to? The this isn't necessarily a bad thing for the larger global outlook. Now the show now has Russell Davies' era was Doctor Who at its broadest and most populist. However, while this may bring on board a new generation of viewers, it's not enough to change and convince those hardened Doctor Who fans. Creative well hasn't run dry. Why would I think it run dry? That's really weird, right? Here's every Russell Davies' new era of Doctor Who appears to be replicating his first. Why it may or may not be something to worry about. David Tennant is a Doctor again. Well, that's really what kicked it all off, right? David Tennant saying, "Oh, let's do more." Oh, he said, "Oh, just imagine," right? Okay, but look, Doctor Who was on its arse, right? Doctor Who was really, really, genuinely decimated. It needed to find some way of reminding the public why they loved it, right? And David Tennant's the way to go. Like, he's a very charming man, right? David Tennant returned to the 14th Doctor for the 360th anniversary specials ahead of Doctor Who season 14. His return comes designed by Tennant, Catherine Tate, and Russell T Davies to work together again after they participated in the Doctor Who lockdown tweet-along for the pandemic. They were awesome and destroyed by Paul Cornell because he is a twat, right? However, there's an unintended optic of the most popular 21st century Doctor replacing Jodie Whittaker. It's very intended. It's very intended. She did a horrible job, right? Like, she did a breathtakingly bad job, right? That actually happened, right? Yeah, no, it was necessary. It was such a bad job, right? Look, she didn't do it on her own, obviously. Christian also did a bad job, but yeah, let's just remind us how bad a job she actually did, right? Let's just do that. Doink, right? That big bounce back up again was. Oh, what's it? This is. Oh no, I got the wrong one up. Here we'll go to season. See, that's just the last season. Let's look at, where is it? There you go. That's the one I wanted. Oh, dang it. We go open with doink. Right. That was the last season, right? And this big jump, almost entirely David Tennant, right? Almost entirely David Tennant. But yeah, no, she did a horrendous job. That's what this looks like, a horrendous job. She was bad, right? Yes. That's called not very good. While following her unfairly maligned era. How's that unfairly maligned? It's awful. It was I realised why Rosa was such a bad script. Because it wasn't Doctor Who. It was critical race theory with a Doctor Who skin, right? The basic plot of it was that this super racist comes back from the 50th century, wherever it's super racist, where all the white people are super racist, right? Because white people are always intrinsically super racist. This is critical race theory. And black people will always be enslaved with them unless they threw them off. So she comes back in time, he comes back in time to stop Rosa Parks being moved out of her seat, or like refusing to give up her seat. And that stops the civil rights movement happening, and so black people remain enslaved. That is entirely critical race theory. I think that is racist, right? I think black people have the same ability and talent and drive to be anything that any other person has, or can do anything they want, right? I think they're human beings. I think it's good to view people as human beings, right? I think it's wrong not to view them as human beings. Fine. Again, why is that? So why was it unfairly maligned? And the weird thing about it was, it got better as it went along, but it was still unwatchable. And the better it got, the worse it got reviewed, which is kind of weird. Well, it's indeed there's nothing of the sort. It's absolutely that of the sort. It absolutely is. There's a set the BBC in panic mode over Doctor Who's low ratings brought back David Tennant to save the show. No, BBC were in panic mode about the low rating. This is something I can tell you with certainty. This is not a rumour. I've spoken to some more than one person, but one person who you know the name of, somebody famous in Doctor Who terms, involved in the production. The BBC were shitting themselves. Yes, that happened, right? They were beside themselves that this happen, right? One of the most valuable properties became devalued, right? They were not happy about it at all. And then Rusty David turns up and said, "Oh, you know, I was just chatting with Catherine Tate and David Tennant. They said they want to do more. How do you feel about that?" They're like, "Oh, fuck, yes, I'll suck your dick." And Davis will probably, "Well, can you put drag on first and we'll talk about it." So, yeah, I understand it's a bad news for you because it makes you look like a schmuck, but if you are a schmuck, you will often look like a schmuck, right? As David Tennant is playing the 14th Doctor rather than the 10th Doctor, there's an implication there's something else going on. David's decision to write a story about the Doctor regenerating into a body of the 10th incarnation suggests there's a very good reason for David's returning, and also his clothes changing as well. Perhaps that's why I think, you know, he's in some kind of skin. Right, like it's he's gonna rip off this incarnation and be shooting Gatwa underneath or something like that. That'd be kind of cool if that happens. Perhaps the 60s is designed to close the book on the 2005 revival by regenerating in the most popular Doctor into shooting Gatwa, propelling. And it's clutching at straws, mate. Is Millie Gibson the new Rose Tyler? Well, not for me, right? Because I find Billie Piper very attractive woman. Never turned me on. Ruby Sunday, not Ruby Sunday. Millie Gibson, however, yes, insanely spankable. It's just insanely hot, and I do love it when the crazers hear me say, they go, "She's 18, you sick bastard." Yes, she is 18, and she's insanely hot, right? I'm not saying I'm about to come on her tits, but if I was offered to. It's in the ballpark. Although little is known about new Doctor companion Ruby Sunday, Millie Gibson, there's an unmistakable similarity to Rusty David's first companion, Rose Tyler, who is now there's a Rose being played by what's her name, Yasmin Finney. Both Rose and Ruby are 19-year-old contemporary women whose lives are upturned by the arrival of their new best friend, the Doctor. Well, we don't know that. Ruby's frame of reference will be updated for the era of social media, influencer culture. God help us. But it's hard to escape the similarity. Millie Gibson also has a very similar look to young Billie Piper, except she's got fantastic tits. Oh, fantastic. And I know, because I've been looking very hard, okay? Very, very hard. I put a lot of work into that. You're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. And you're also welcome, Millie Gibson. Not everybody gets the lustful attention of the rabbi. It's you and Nicola Bryant. You're in a very small club. Maybe we should get you a uniform. Yeah, about some kind of schoolgirl thing, and maybe Nicola, she's a bit older. Maybe some kind of school mom thing, some teacher thing. I don't know. You work it out. When I say you, it's you and Nicola, Millie, and I don't want to impose my will on you. I'm just an easygoing guy, mate. Which suggests Rusty Davis is deliberately looking to return to the sim. No, she wants okay. I think he wants something for everyone, right? He wants a young, hot, attractive woman to be the companion, because that, generally speaking, works. Prior to Millie Gibson casting, there's been discussion on whether Rose Temple Noble, Yasmin Finney, the transgender daughter of Donna Noble, would be Gatwa's new companion. Well, there wasn't discussion. There was people like you getting on your knees and begging and crying like bitches. There was that, right? It's disappointing, therefore, that instead of pushing the show's diversity further, how much fucking further? Really, it's getting ridiculous. And, like, why do you think diversity is, in of itself, a great thing, right? Diversity with people who can't do the job is a bad thing, right? Is a bad thing. Depending on how Donna Noble's story ends in the 6th anniversary, could be a very good reason that Rose Temple Noble doesn't go. I don't care. Locations suggest more Earthbound adventures. No! That's just dumb, mate. That's dumb. No. The location footage we see, filming, has been set on Earth because they're filming on Earth, right? I don't know what to tell you. Like we haven't seen them filming in a quarry anywhere. I mean, really? Okay, they're filming in Clapham Junction. Yeah, maybe they don't want to make that the surface of Mars. Russell Davies' first era Doctor Who was known for its regular visit to contemporary Earth. Well, the first year they didn't leave at all. The first time I think we saw an alien planet might have been, it was on the first season, right? Towards the end, you saw Rose and the Doctor, and I can't remember if it was Christopher Eccleston or David Tennant on this like alien planet. I remember on the voiceover, right, on the commentary they did. That was glorious. Phil Collins was saying, "Yeah, the first time we saw an alien planet, bloody hell, that was expensive." Where are we up to? In which alien invasion would play out in the public eye. These bizarre alien incursions were usually accompanied by narration from fan favorite anchor Trinity Wells. I bet she's going to be back, right? A production diary by a script editor said they're going to reveal the script amendments have been made for the first block to include additional dialogue for a newsreader. This, combined with photos snapped at location by eager fans, the political posters and the terrifying monsters on the street, suggests that not much has changed. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, alien invaders out of contemporary Earth were a huge element in Doctor Who in the third Doctor's exile to Earth, but generally the show will explore a wider unit. Well, they keep saying they're going to do it on a much wider canvas, right? Than it did during the first RTD era. It was hoped that the increased budget of the co-production would allow the Doctor to realise strange alien worlds in more detail. Probably is, right? Probably is. But Davis has always been opposed to alien planets. Now, not now he can. He was also opposed to HD. Bloody hell. Yeah, this was from 2005. He says, if you're on planet Zog and the Zog people are fighting the Zog monster, I don't give a toss. Who cares about that? Well, he's very clearly referencing the John Nathan Turner years. Right? Very clearly referencing. Doctor Who spin-offs are back. Well, we've known that before we knew anything else, right? Well, at least I did. One of the greatest successes of Russell Davies' era was the spin-off series Torchwood and Sarah Jane Adventures. I agree. Even though I'm not a great Sarah Jane Adventures fan, or even Torchwood for that matter, I agree. Russell Davies has already revealed Doctor Who spin-offs are ready to go in the new era. Well, I think because they're making a channel. With rumours circulating, emerging of a spin-off focus on Kate Stewart. I mean, really... I mean, I guess it'll be good for insomniacs, right? If you fall asleep, you can have a bit of that. I just read before. As a United Intelligence Task Force, Unified Intelligence Task Force, it used to be United Nations, now it's Unified Intelligence Task Force. While Doctor's unit spin-off is an exciting process, there's also a feeling that it's an attempt by RTD to realise a new version of Torchwood without its problematic lead, John Barrowman. What's problematic about him? I mean, okay, why does this person, Mark Donaldson, why do you feel okay defaming people? Right? What do you know about him? What do you know about, like, again, who was the victim? Again, the story, if you don't know about it, was that John Barrowman would often whip his dick out behind the scenes for a laugh, right? And everybody laughed about it, and nobody complained. Then, while Noel Clarke was being very disingenuously cancelled for absolutely freaking nothing, that clip surfaced. Look, it's people just want to get rid of him. They didn't like him, right? He rubbed somebody up the wrong way. That's what happened. Problematic. I mean, like, who are you to sit in judgment of all these people with knowing absolutely nothing about them? A unit spin-off combined with Russell Davies' fascination with the contemporary Earth in Doctor Who limits the scope of the show, what the show can achieve in the exciting new era. No, it doesn't. He can go to the Zog monster planet and then come back next episode, right? If the new with the limits we achieve an exciting year, if Unit was 15th Doctor is returning to 2020 Earth every other week, it would, well, it's only 8 weeks. It wouldn't feel like there was so much need for Unit to protect the Earth in his absence. Okay, this is just dumb. Hopefully this isn't the case, and the timing of Doctor Who's Earth event will be as much more unpredictable, given that giving Unit plenty of work to do in the spin-offs. Another exciting prospect is the rumoured Doctor Who Monsters anthology, which does feel generally like a new show that could stand out on a streaming service. Yes, well, it depends what they do with it, right? Stephen Moffat is rumoured to be returning to. Nah, do you remember the wailing and gnashing of teeth when this came out, right? They were not having... No! No white men! No! it's kind of like the opposite of when we heard Jinx Monsoon, right? Yeah, honestly, the whining about Stephen Moffat returning was nowhere near as big as the reaction to Jinx Monsoon from people like me. UK tabloid The Mirror reported that Stephen Moffat was set to return to write a new episode of Shooting Up with first season of Doctor Who, while exciting to ponder what new Doctor Who stories have come out of the former showrunner's imagination. I think it's a spin-off he's running. Or this is a setup for a spin-off, anyway. In the years since he left, it's another sign the new era appears to be prioritising reliving past glories over preparing for the future. Well, no, it's going back to what we know works as opposed to what we know failed. Now you, Mr. Donaldson, keep saying, let's do more things that we know failed so I can feel good about myself. Well, no. Or maybe yes, I don't bloody know. Many of the production team behind the newer Doctor Who spearheaded the 2005 revival, thank God. Including executive producer Phil Collison and Julie Garner, and it appears that the writing team is no exception. I bet you it bloody is. A return by Steve Moffat does look like Russell Davis does back up Russell Davis' criticism of new writers that apparently hate the medium TV. Yeah, well they do. That's why they write shit. Like, have you ever tried to read a script by Vinny Patel? No one has. They try to shoot themselves halfway through. Instead of allowing fresh voices to emerge, okay, they're not fucking good enough. You know why they're not fucking good enough, these fresh voices? Because they're lazy cunts and they can't do any fucking work. You need to work on your sodding craft to be able to hone it, which is what I think he wants to do. Hopefully, this is a decision driven by Russell Davis' need for industry figures like Moffat who have existing experience on the unique challenges that Doctor Who provides. Having reliable writers like Mark Gatiss and Moffat in the mix would afford more time for Russell Davis to work with next generation of Doctor Who writers, which could be a hugely promising development for the show's future. I tend to agree with that, right? I tend to agree that that's probably the plan. But man, what a dumb article that was. Yeah, Mark Donaldson. Wow. Whew. Mark, I have to tell you, it's better to keep one's mouth shut and have all around you think you're a fool than to close it and remove all doubt, which is what I feel happened there. Very good. So right now I'm getting ready to go to have Passover Seder. I hope you have a great time as well. I don't know what you're doing out there. I will be back live tomorrow night on Thursday, which is why I'm recording. I recorded this on Tuesday, not Wednesday. I recorded this on Tuesday, right? So join me tomorrow night live, especially on Rumble, baby, because Rumble freaking awesome. My name is Tzvi Lebetkin, the rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.